Hello, can we hear me? How we doing? Hello, can we hear me? Okay, sweet deal. Okay, I think that worked. Awesome. Hey, and nobody's here to see it. Yay! Okay, awesome. Well, let's start this day. How's everybody doing? How are we doing? Oh, we gotta fix this. Okay. Oh, okay. I think we're all good now. I think we got this. Very, very happy. Aye. No. Okay. Sweet. And I'm sorry I'm not too prepared this morning like other mornings. I was a little busy. And then also my computer shut down in the middle of the night, so everything I had prepared was wiped. So, gotta love a thunderstorm. Aye. Okay, okay, okay. Hi, let's start this show. Hi. Sweet deal. Hi. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. We lost power in the middle of the night. Everything I had prepared is wiped. Um, what is this now? Oh, I hope there's no echo. Good. Okay. Yeah. No echo. Hi. Well, let's start the show. So, we today I do want to talk about the structures underneath the pyramid. We have an update on that a little. Uh, the UK's losing it. We got a lot going on in the world. It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, here we go. Let's start. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Hope you have your coffee. Oh, I had a okay night's rest after getting stung by something or bit by something. I'm not sure exactly what the hell happened, but yeah. How you doing? I went and got Botox. Jesus. Oh man. So got a big ol' thing on my lip from gardening yesterday. Love my new hobby. So much fun. No, it was awesome. Me and the wife, Jessie, saw her yesterday. We got so much work done. I'm gonna have fun with you guys, and then I'm gonna get right back to it. I think we only got like a day or two left, and then the yard is perfect, and we are like the party house of the family. So I like my outside to look nice. It takes work, but it calms everything down when everything looks nice. You know, you show up to the house every day, see what the work you put in, how it looks good, and you just feel good about yourself. You know, putting your best foot forward, letting the world see. So that's what me and my girl were trying to do. Uh, yeah. So, of course, gotta gotta get something on to mess up the face right as I'm starting my broadcast career. Yeah, career. My hobby. Uh, but yeah, so big old lip. You know, the natural Botox or lip injection, whatever the hell the girls call it. But let's start the day. So I'm thinking we're gonna start the days like this. I would like to go over with Zero Hedge. Usually I'll read him and then I'll pick stuff out and then that's what I'll dive into with you guys. But you know what? I'd rather give Zero Hedge as much publicity as possible. He's fantastic account. I really enjoy this account. So, you know, I figured I'm going to push the creators that have taught me, given me knowledge. I'm just going to keep pushing them and hoping that their message gets out there. Because honestly, I didn't even know everything that I know until it was thanks to people like this. So let's go over this and then we'll take a look at Ben and what's going on with the sun today. And then we'll dive into the news. Top overnight news. The disruption of Middle East oil supplies due to the war in Iran has sparked a rush of U.S. crude. We've been talking about that, how everybody's heading to the U.S. Data on ship movements show about 70 VLCCs, or very large crude carriers, big-ass boats, sailing towards the U.S. Gulf Coast, mainly from Asia. What have we been talking about? How we're trying to stranglehold the strait to make China's energy lacking. That way it's affecting their AI. It's affecting everything. In the end, we're really just trying to hamper the world as we just skyrocket ahead. I was actually thinking about this. We are doing to the world what the military did to the American public. We are holding you back with bullcrap science, with every avenue we can hold you back. We're going to go into this with Egypt. You heard me the other day talking about how much I'm such a fan of the government of Egypt and how they deal with antiquity, ancient history and all that, and how they keep blocking everything. There's a guy that we're going to go over, Zahi Hawass, who basically took credit for multiple discoveries. It just so much corruption, so much ego, and you know, not just from him, from multiple people, multiple organizations. I mean, I'm telling you, the devil doesn't need to do a damn thing except put somebody incompetent or arrogant in a certain position, and then everything is stalled. Everything is hampered. It sucks. So, I mean, it just really does suck how one little roadblock can hold back all of humanity. But anyway, so obviously we are trying to stranglehold China and trying to make them weaker as we scale ahead, just like the military has done to the general public. They kept us here, meanwhile them and technology has a number more than double last year's average. So I mean, we're picking up a lot of steam, and that's awesome for us. That is awesome for us. Thank God. Let the empire reign forever. President Donald Trump said a deal to end the war in Iran could be reached soon, although the timing remained unclear. While U.S. allies were gathering on Friday to discuss reopening the vital Strait of Hormuz shipping route. A Pakistani flag tanker that entered the Persian Gulf over the weekend became the first carrier to exit through the Strait of Hormuz. Remember, Pakistan is the one doing the mediating between Iran and the U.S., so they're really using that to their advantage. Like, hey guys, we're both cool. Like, look, you know, hey, can we get some oil? Dude, the world really is one big high school. Anyway, so Pakistan had a tanker get through. The Strait of Hormuz remains in focus as the UK and France host a Paris summit. This is a freaking joke, yo. You got France and the UK trying to act like they have any control over any situation. All you have is nukes, and we all know you're too much of a... You will never use them. Your threats or posturing with them is completely useless. You have no influence. You are now a backseat nation. Congratulations, you played yourself. Anyway, summit. They're having a summit to discuss a naval force to ensure freedom of navigation. Trump, meanwhile, moved to calm voters' concerns about conflict-driven energy costs at a speech in Las Vegas. If you didn't see last night, he went to Las Vegas and he was talking about no tax on tips. I don't know if we've talked about that or if I talked about that in a standalone video, but I do overtime, a lot of overtime, as much as I can get. With my job, they pay double. Overtime is double, so of course, you got to take advantage of that. Uh, and I did pretty darn good. And I even had an injury last year, wasn't able to work as much, and still, that was a very nice little bonus. Wish it was more, but you can get only a percentage of a percentage. It's the way it works in the world. So Las Vegas is obviously, I believe, the hotel, concierge capital of America. And so you have a lot of people who are going no tax on tips. Now remember, no tax on overtime. I can only claim up to $12,500. If you're a service worker and getting tips, you can claim up to $25,000. I hate that there's a huge difference. They should both be the same in my opinion, but also I'm the one that's getting screwed over, so of course I'm going to have that opinion. So what can you do? Then I haven't seen much talk on this. I thought there would be more talk on this because, I think it really was those $2,000 checks that it was just free money, no work, no nothing. They, of course, ended up getting the money back and then cut through taxes and, other crap. But I think that really set the bar too high. So now even though this is such a big help, it's not really hitting the same way. And also it's not going to the people who are, not working. So, the people online. I'm only online because this is my home. The U.S. Congressional Progressive Caucus discussed trying to force repeated House votes on Iran war power resolutions. All right. Yeah, sure. Give it a try. Both parties want this. Even though the Democrats are going to say they don't, everybody knows this is for us. This is for our survival. We need to make sure everybody is using American currency to purchase energy in the world. And if you step out of line, Hadouken! Yo, okay? I mean, that's the way it goes. So yeah, we'll see. I really doubt that you're going to see any real undercutting from our own people. And if you do, then you really need to watch them from then on, because that is straight up, that's traitorous. I mean, like, in the end, then you really are rooting for the world against us. And I am sorry, but that is a line that the second you wish for troops to die, for us to lose influence, for us to become negatively affected in any way, unless you are criticizing us to help us, bad actor in my opinion, and I'm watching your butt, and the second I can take you down, I will. The U.S. plans to help build a first-of-its-kind industrial hub in the Philippines to boost production of imports crucial to American supply chains. I mean, you're seeing it. We are all about trade right now. Trade routes, everything is about efficiency, trying to make it as cheap as possible. Because in the end, we got AI coming, we got robotics coming, we got so much about to change. So, I mean, like, it really is about making it as cheap as possible, because a lot of people are not about to have as much money. It's a cold fact, and I'm so sorry that it's gonna happen. But it is. I don't know what else to say. The RBI urged state-run oil refineries to curb spot dollar purchases and tap a special credit line for their FX requirements. The U.S. government is at risk of losing its status as the lowest-cost USD borrower as global investors grow wary of Trump's volatility. Now, that is the other side of this. You can have people back out, but the whole point is to, I mean, you really just got to pin these people down and the nations down and make them have to buy from you. I mean, like, in the end, they need energy. It's the way it is. They don't want their people to die of weather, starvation, no water. I mean, like, you need energy. You're actually seeing a lot of our allies buying as they're trying to transition, they're now buying from other sources that, aren't really American aligned, but we're allowing it to happen because we understand you don't want you need energy. Okay? We have to give as we're also taking, because if we don't, then they will go to war. There's no reason for them not to. That you are telling them they're going to die. They just have to accept it, and no nation's just going to accept that. So, I mean, you have to let them get energy at least a little to sustain themselves. I mean, once again, the delicate dance. The delicate dance. The U.S. government is at risk of losing its Keir Starmer fired the UK foreign. Now this is another one. He had a guy. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK, appointed this guy, Peter Mendelsohn, who's in the Epstein files, even though knowing he was in the Epstein files. Keir Starmer really is what a guy. Ugh. Delays to a swath of new U.S. data centers threaten to slow the rollout of AI by the world's biggest tech companies, with almost 40% of all projects due this year at risk of falling behind schedule. Yeah, I mean, Trump has been saying it. They need to make their own, their own energy, and then whatever's excess they can siphon into the grid. I think that is a perfect idea. I don't understand. Yeah, because I mean, you're also seeing it with these activists now. They are straight up targeting these data centers, and I honestly believe that it's orders coming down from basically enemies of America that are trying to hamper our AI development, just like we're doing to China. I mean, like, what you can't really directly attack America, so how do you hamper their AI? You piss off their communist, anarchist citizens to then go out and destroy energy, to protest, to destroy things that are being built. I mean, you really are just gonna turn these people into your brown coat troopers, that's why I think you're gonna be seeing a huge push by the left and not like the left that's aligned with America. I'm talking about like anarchist left, those crazy left. They're gonna be against AI because they don't want us to get ahead. You're gonna see it. Hassan will probably come out and say AI needs to be stopped. U.S. President Trump posts sadly. And then Mayor Mondami is just getting crushed because all the proposals he's saying for New York is just nothing's working out his way. Who could have guessed that communism failed again? People don't like being taxed, and if they have the chance to leave, which he's taxing the only people that can leave, the richest, and they're doing it. You have the governor of New York, as he's saying, let's tax the rich. The governor of New York is saying, please come back, trying to think of any way to market for the one percenters to come back to New York, because now they're hemorrhaging. But yeah, so give Zero Hedge a follow. He is so good. He gives news throughout the entire day. We have an update right now. Trump U.S. blockade on Iran to remain in place. The Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business and full passage, but the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran, only until such a time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. This process should go very quickly, in that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I don't know if we'll ever leave the strait. We might just be there. That might just be ours. And if we can make it work, I don't see why not. I would like to control as many trade routes as possible. You control the world if you control trade. So yeah, give Zero Hedge a follow. All right, let's check out. Ben.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. It is Friday, April 17th, 2026, and today we've got several items to look at in space weather. There's going to be severe weather dropping in the central states tonight. We've got 2 top science papers to hit as well, and we're starting, as always, with the last 24 hours on our star. Massive coronal hole, instantly stealing attention. The rowdiness and crackling activity just behind it is the sunspot group we've been keeping an eye on. Several unstable filaments on the disk as well. Top 2 items to watch begin with this coronal hole. What a monster. The enhanced solar wind from it is expected to arrive at Earth tonight. Level 2 geomagnetic storms have been forecast by NOAA either tonight or early tomorrow. You can see here on the Enlil spiral, density up top, plasma speed on the bottom. We are expecting to take that leading edge this evening and then slide into the hotter, faster plasma stream tomorrow. Looking at the sunspots, top left is our only concern, and she's grown a good bit in 2 days, hasn't she? Magnetically, though, it's still largely split, but in the middle, in the northern side of the caboose, on the left, we show potential for magnetic mixing if it develops in any fashion close to what it's been doing the last 2 days. Top flare watch is here today, and
Cry, I'm glad you weren't here before. We were having technical difficulties at the beginning. We worked through it. As you can see, got a sting on my lip from gardening yesterday. You know, bald head, screwed up face, screwed up programming. We're doing good over here. Good to see you, Cry.
The large-scale field suggests more umbral cores are hiding just behind the limb, incoming as well. Top weather note comes to the central United States. This convergence line coming south off the low-pressure cell slams together air masses. These air masses have wildly varying temperatures, lines colliding from the north and the south. And that's all got to equalize in the convergence, and the same goes for the moisture sucked up out of the Gulf and slamming into drier air out of the northwest. The combination of those gradients drive atmospheric convective potential and storms. High alert tonight. Tornadoes expected. Excellent study here on the astronomical nudging of the lunar earthquake modulator. It's about frequency and patterns of rupture and the slight variability in the 18.6-year cycle of moon forcing of earthquakes is varied by different astronomical characteristics. But our top story today includes Owens, one of the living titans of solar science. The paper describes extreme proton storms and how if we take a super flare, the passengers are in trouble, astronauts are definitely dead, and that's with Earth's magnetic field being strong. The current weakening of the field was not taken into account in this study. It showed, though, that the top proton storm events in the geology were all about 100 times bigger than the biggest atmospheric radiation spike event we've ever seen in modern times. You take down Earth's magnetic field to where we're headed in a decade, and it's not safe to be standing outside during a super flare. Definitely not on an airplane. On our way down to the magnetic pole shift, it helps to be prepared. Remember, whether you are a lone wolf or part of a big survival group, your own food, water, seeds, and medical supplies should probably be on you. 2 years of food, 3 seasons of seeds per plant, and double redundancy backups for medical. Get 10% off all of it at Heaven's Harvest and Refuge Medical today. Code is SOLAR at checkout. Links to both are below, and we greatly appreciate your support. We'll do this all again tomorrow. Right here, but right now it's 5:15 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun.
And that's why I love Ben. Like, you don't see this stuff. He presents it all so quick, so easy. I love it. I mean, like, look at this. So much data in, 4 minutes. Gotta love it. So, it looks like some tornadoes tonight. As you're seeing, we're having the Look at that. I mean, that is so cool. I've actually never seen this graph before. Like, you can really see, and that's how a tornado is formed. Boom. Man, that is so cool. Just the crashing of the two. Okay. Well, I mean, you gotta love Ben. Give him a follow. He is Space Weather News on YouTube. Man, I'm really, really happy I found him. Okay. Now, yesterday we were talking, or this week we talked about the disappearing scientists. Well, Trump made a statement on it.
What do you think is happening here, and do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left the meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff, but we're going to be hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you whatever you want to call it, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short term.
Is it possible that some foreign adversary is in the United States scooping these people up?
Well, you know, Biden had open borders. It wasn't very hard to get here, but we've gotten many of them out. You know, we've caught many people, many very bad people, including thousands of murderers that we've taken out of our country, thousands of drug lords that we've taken out of our country, hundreds of thousands of prisoners that were let into the U.S. that we've taken out of our country. As far as the scientists are concerned, we'll probably have a pretty good answer over the next week.
What? Damn you, old man. And then we also had the House passes a resolution blocking President Trump from deporting 350,000 Haitians, 60% of whom are on welfare, in a 220 to 207 vote. You had Republicans cross the line to vote to keep them here, and you had some Democrats cross the line to vote to keep them out, and they still had enough to keep them here. That Trump won on popular vote. Trump won the popular vote for deportations, and these people are not bringing America's will to fruition, and it's wrong. It is wrong. I mean, at some point, you need to start asking yourself, are these even our public servants? We also had the flood happening in Michigan. I mean, this one was, wow. Just everything. I just watched a movie about some town somewhere getting flooded, and there were sharks in the town. It's on Netflix. And then we saw, me and the wife saw this, and we were like, oh yeah, real life now. That's crazy. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. Make sure you have your insurance good. Oh my God. These poor people. Oh my goodness. That is absolutely horrible. God bless them. I hope that they recover. Earlier in the week, we were talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and I was saying, like, man, I'm hoping that she just sticks to her principles no matter what and goes after the deep state like she was wanted. And, dude, you speak it into existence.
Right now, we're talking
Tulsi Gabbard. She's pushing for criminal charges for 2 intelligence officials. All this stemming from the 2019 impeachment of President Trump. David Spun is watching that bouncing ball. Explain it to us. David, hello.
Good morning to you both. Right now, we're talking about a criminal referral, not a full-blown investigation, but it may turn into one, and quickly. The DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, sent this referral to the Justice Department. Let's go back to 2019 and the phone call between President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, remember, this was before Russia invaded Ukraine. This happened at the United Nations on the sidelines. Zelensky was a new president.
He's got that suit on, doesn't he? That's right. You better wear that suit.
of Ukraine navigating the world stage. Now, he and Trump spoke briefly on the phone in July 2019. According to a whistleblower, Trump pressured Zelensky to launch investigations into the Biden family's business dealings in Ukraine, specifically Hunter's involvement in the country. The whistleblower sent the complaint to former Inspector General of the intelligence community, his name Michael Atkinson. He notified Congress. That started the ball rolling, which ultimately led to the impeachment of President Trump in the House. He was never convicted by the Senate or removed from office, but it was a stain on his record. According to the referral reviewed by Fox News Digital, it reads, quote, "I want to refer information that may constitute possible criminal activity in violation of federal criminal law committed by one or more former employees of the intelligence community." Now, Todd Blanche, the man.
Thank you. Please, for the love of God, prosecute somebody. Can somebody catch these government hands for once? I talk about empire vibes and all that. It's everywhere but home. Can we please just get some damn law and order at the house? The house is on fire, people.
Running the Justice Department now that Pam Bondi's gone will ultimately decide if it's worth pursuing this criminal investigation. If it becomes one, it's unclear how the probe would unfold, given we're in 2026 and we're talking about 2019. Remember, there's a statute of limitations, though it's unclear what potential charges could come from any of this, if at all. No comment, though, from the DOJ or Mr. Atkinson this morning, but we're going to watch it.
Okay. Then Tom Homan, he's come out and said they want to he's talking about the Democrats and basically how they are abolish ICE now.
Look, I was up on Hill numerous times meeting with members of Congress, talking about what ICE does, what ICE doesn't do, what Border Patrol does and
man, he's looking white as crap. Oof.
Doesn't do, which is even more important. And they're trying to change the law through the appropriations process. They want to legislate things, prevent ICE from doing things. They don't want to reform ICE. They say reform ICE. They want to handcuff ICE like they were the last 4 years under Joe Biden.
You had Tom Steyer, who's now the front runner of the Democrats for California, straight up saying if he gets into governorship, he's going to arrest ICE. He's going to start a civil war. That's what everybody said in the replies. It's what my first thought was. And he's just like, yeah, maybe. These people are problems.
Things like, well, we want body cameras. Well, we already addressed the body cameras. We're implementing nationwide. Matter of fact, the funding you're holding up is going to give us $120 million to buy more body cameras. They want to talk about sensitive location. Can't arrest illegal aliens in sensitive locations. And I responded, well, give me one instance where you arrested an alien inside of a hospital, inside of a church, or inside of elementary school. What's the problem? You can't point to one instance that happened. The only one that violated the sanctity of a church was John Lemon and his group. So, they want to change the law through appropriation, what's never been done before. If they don't like what ICE is doing, then legislate new laws and put it in federal statute, and that's what we'll do.
See, that's the whole thing is we're just trying to enforce the laws on the books. That's it. We're just trying to enforce the laws on the books. If you don't like these laws, then change them. But you can't because the common man knows that's wrong. You will lose all influence and power if you really tried to change laws. You would show exactly who you are, which is you are for whatever means necessary to stay in power, which means importing new voters rather than fighting on the debate stage, trying to earn the American mind. And that is treasonous in my head, but everybody says I'm crazy. Trump did a whole half an hour questions. That's where you saw the thing from before about the missing scientist. I mean, we're not going to watch the entire thing, but I just thought I'd point that out. Now, the midterms, we were talking about that. We were talking about that before. The midterms, we're going to see how this goes. If Trump can wrap up the Middle East. You know what? We'll talk about that in a second.
There it is now. It's business because President Trump is more than holding his own amongst a very large portion of the electorate, a very reliable voting bloc, and that is senior citizens. Take a look here, okay? Trump's approval rating age 65 plus. In March of 2025, 46%. Look at where it is now. It's basically the same. Seniors have not moved. He's at 44% now. And the key nugget here is for all this talk about young people in the electorate, such as myself, or at least I like to include myself in that block, it turns out that older voters, senior citizens, vote in far larger numbers. So
No
Republicans look at this number and they say, hey,
But
you know what?
responsible.
We can actually potentially do some real damage, or at least hold our own in the midterms, because President Trump is holding his own with this very important voting bloc.
So how does that number 44% compare historically to other presidents?
Okay, this is where it gets even more interesting. It turns out if you look at all the 21st century second-term presidents and you look at senior citizens, Trump actually has the best approval rating at this point in the second term of all of them. Donald Trump at 44%. Obama was under 40% at 39%. George W. Bush was way down there at 34%. So Donald Trump is beating other presidents.
I wonder how much that pisses off George Bush and Obama that he keeps having these better stats on his, they keep comparing the second term of him versus the second term of those two. And holy crap, man, he's always killing them. I mean, I'm sure that gets under their skin. Man, Obama should have never made that stupid comment at that dinner. Ever since he made that comment, the galaxy has just taken karma and shoved it down his throat. I mean, it is incredibly entertaining to watch.
Presidents this century at this point in their second term, beating all of them, and therefore, as I said, holding his own amongst a very key voting bloc. The President of the United States and the White House should like this number, especially compared to Obama, who Trump, of course, always likes to beat.
And this was George W. Bush after he started talking about reforming Social Security.
That's a bad idea.
Among seniors, it certainly is, the so-called third.
Please do not talk about Social Security. Wait till after the midterms if you're going to do that, which you totally should. But please, for the love of God. By the way, if we're about to have like all this amazing medicine, what do you think is going to happen to Social Security? If people are living longer, we got a whole bunch of change coming, people.
Really?
No, I don't want to post anything. Get out of here.
Politics. All right, talk to me how his number may have moved a little bit, President Trump's, and what that might mean.
Okay, so, we spoke about the midterm elections. So, oftentimes I ask myself, okay, the president isn't obviously up for election this November, but Republicans in the House are. And so I think just making this comparison, right, we've seen a lot of folks saying, oh, Republicans doomed when it comes to the midterm elections. But just take a look at this, choice for election among age 65 plus. Back in November of 2024, Trump won that group by 1 point. We've seen some movement, but really not that much movement. Democrats ahead by 3 in the race for Congress. And as John and I were talking about, this could cost Republicans the House, but a number like this suggests to me that Republicans very, very well and are likely to hold the Senate. This is what we've seen in the polling data. When we look nationally, we see that the movement, simply put, isn't there. And when you get the most reliable voting bloc, basically Republicans holding their own with maybe some slight movement of Democrats, these are the types of numbers that I think Republicans have to be pleased with.
See, that is another thing is that's now being talked about commonly, how right now it's looking like Republicans will lose the House but keep the Senate. But it's not really being messaged too hard. My guess is because if you kind of send out that message right now, you might galvanize the left. So try to keep that hush-hush, that let everybody think that, it's going to be this tidal wave. People will stay home. The Republicans actually have real voters show up, and then they end up holding a little bit of power. So we're going to see how the midterms go. It really is just up in the air, though. All it takes is one event, and everything could massively slide the other way, either way.
I will say, though, even this slight movement, probably enough at this stage to think.
For the House, but not for the Senate.
All right, we're talking about the Senate here. There is a Senate race in a state that I'm told has a fair number of seniors. That's Florida. Republican Ashley Moody up for re-election there. What are the prediction markets saying about her chances?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people in New York City who may have some older relatives who live down on the Gold Coast in Southeast Florida. You think of the Villages as well, and take a look here. Chance that the Republicans wins the Republicans hold on in the
Oh my
2026
goodness. Now that's call sheet. That's real money being put down. People are betting real money that there's an 83% chance that Republicans win. They're putting real money down. Now, once again, I said that they are trying to flood these markets to manipulate them, but it costs real money to do that. So it's there, but it's not as prevalent as like a poll.
Florida Senate race. Look at this, an 83% chance. So the bottom line is this: Florida, a state with a lot of seniors, looks like Republicans are holding their own there. Not a big surprise, as we've seen nationally, Republicans holding their own with seniors, Donald Trump holding his own with seniors, and that's a key reason why the bottom hasn't fallen out and Republicans have a fighting chance heading into this midterm election.
Harold Denton, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank
We can't get 10 Democrats to cross the aisle to vote with the American people, but we have 10 Republicans that ran across the aisle to commit treason against the citizens of the United States. Just think about that. Just think about the fact that we have the two weakest leaders in the House. John Thune needs to get the hell out. Get out. Like, I thought there was one more that was more about the... Oh, then here's another thing for the midterms. Breaking, Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, he's a Republican from Utah, says it's time to nuke the filibuster. This is the first time Senator Mike Lee has overtly called for passing the Save America Act via nuking the filibuster. You got to do what you got to do. In the end, the gloves are off. We are really fighting for the future of this country right now. With everything happening, you know, AI, you're having trade, everything is a great reset. I mean, like, it's like they're saying they're straight up resetting everything. So, I mean, right now we're trying to stay at the top of the dog pile as everything resets. I mean, this is such a delicate dance. And meanwhile, we're being hampered by our own people. Honestly. Here's Brandon Gill, patriot. Absolute patriot. Absolute phenom. Look at that hair. Let's see.
Stronger. So let's ask ourselves, does mass migration from Haiti benefit the American people? The answer is obviously no. 65%.
Sorry, not 60, 65%
of non-immigrant Haitian-headed households are on welfare. Does that make America stronger or more prosperous or more wealthy in any way? Of course it doesn't. And yet we're being asked to give them amnesty and make these absolutely horrendous years of open borders effectively permanent. So let's ask ourselves.
I mean, absolute. Yeah, Oh, and then we also had Gavin Newsom. Another thing that, like, you had Swalwell. Now you're having Newsom. These little events could add up to something with the midterms, but it's also far away and people are stupid and they forget. Gavin Newsom just used his own PAC to buy $1.5 million worth of his own book. Even more comical, that accounts for 2/3 of the entire print sales. So, out of all the printed books sold for Gavin Newsom's book was bought by Gavin Newsom's PAC, his Political Action Committee. That is fraud of some sort, right? I mean, right? How Newsom boosted his book sales with 1.5 from his PAC. Governor Newsom offered supporters who gave any amount a copy of his book. Roughly 67 donors received the memoir, accounting for roughly 2/3 of its total printed sales. This is botting. He just botted his own book. If you know anything about putting content online, you know you can buy robots to watch your stuff, leave comments, act like a real person, make it seem like you have a real audience, and then you can use that to fraud against companies that want to pay you to advertise for them. You go to these companies saying, hey, look, I have a 2,000 person audience. Give me whatever, $500 to put your product on my stream. The company then does it and sees no returns because the audience is fake. Of course no one's going to buy your thing. Nobody's actually watching. It's a robot. Gavin did that with his book. By using his pack, they bought 2/3 of the entire sales to make it seem more popular than it is, hoping that then people, because people are sheep, that if they see something's popular, they're going to pay attention to it. They're going to, interact with it. I mean, it really, it's amazing how much of consensus mentality that we have as humans. We're always looking to just be part of the group. I mean, yeah, that's psychology. But anyway, now we're back to the scientists that are missing.
Associates have been found dead. An unsettling mystery. At least 10 American scientists, military officials, and associates have been found dead or suddenly vanished. And now some lawmakers are calling for an investigation. Brooke Taylor is live from Dallas with more. I've been sort of following this, but I'm looking forward to your report so I can better understand it.
Hi, Dana. Well, there's definitely a lot of questions surrounding this because at least 10 of those scientists, military officials, and employees, as you mentioned, who are tied to America's most sensitive nuclear and space programs have either just vanished or disappeared in the last few years. So we hope we'll break this down for you. We put this together. The cases span from July 2023 to now. In some, deaths remain unexplained or lack full public detail. In others, sudden disappearances with few answers. So check out some of these cases. Most recently, retired Air Force General William McCaslin vanished in February. He walked out of his Albuquerque home, leaving behind his phone. Previously, he oversaw some of the Pentagon's most advanced aerospace programs. Then check out this case also in February. Astrophysicist Carl.
I know, Yessie, this is all insane. I mean, either another country is kidnapping or killing our scientists, and it's probably China, and we're probably doing the same thing. There's a huge shadow war going on. And honestly, be thankful that you're normal and you get to enjoy your family and enjoy your day. Because, I mean, like, there really is a whole Tom Cruise movie playing in the background as we are just living our lives and just enjoying it. So be thankful.
Grillmare, who worked closely on NASA missions, was killed outside of his home. Police did arrest a suspect in that case. Then 8 months earlier, U.S. rocket scientist Monica Reza disappeared while hiking in California's Angeles National Forest. Records show she worked on advanced aerospace materials. I spoke to Congressman Eric Burleson, who's calling for an FBI investigation.
Well, these were not ordinary citizens. These are some of the most advanced scientists that are working on some of our most critical nation secrets. This has all of the hallmarks of a foreign operation. And so this is something that we need to be investigating.
And Dana, so far, no local authority has publicly connected these mysterious deaths and disappearances. We did reach out to the FBI last night, who told us they have no comment.
Whew. We'll see. We will see. So Trump said, as you saw in that clip, he had a meeting, and hopefully in a week and a half we'll know what's going on. Now we have Luna talking about Swalwell and Gonzalez. We talked about those earlier in the week. She's saying that there might be more coming.
Do other House members have skeletons in their closets?
Yes.
How many?
I'd say right now there's probably about two House members, likely one senator. But I think that this right now is freaking a lot of people out. And also, too, I think this is kind of something that we've been pushing forward, but we wanted to release the Congressional Slush Fund.
Is this the beginning of a major...
Talking about the slush fund to, to representatives who get caught doing things. The government will pay to make things go away so they don't get in trouble. Honestly, we need some real consequences in this country. We need to really start investigating and locking people up.
Major purge on Capitol Hill?
I think so.
How many members are we talking about?
Well, as of right now, there's probably 3 between the House and the Senate.
3, but there could be more.
There could be more, yeah. There's always rumors, but rumors aren't always true. It's what's in evidence.
I like that. Like, yeah, I don't want rumors. I don't want to hear anything like that. I want to start seeing investigations. I want to start seeing evidence. Yep, here we go. Here's the slush fund.
Let's talk about these sexual harassment settlements. When the House recently voted overwhelmingly to kill a resolution that would have made sexual harassment reports in Congress public, you thought what?
I mean, I thought that it was going to overwhelmingly pass, and then you saw me and about, maybe 80-something members of Congress vote for it, and everyone else voted to send it to ethics because they knew that ethics wouldn't release the reporting for it. They knew ethics wouldn't do anything, and that's basically what the powers that be, both Democrats and Republicans, will do when they want to provide an off-ramp for people not to take tough votes.
Critics call it a slush fund.
It is.
How much taxpayer money goes
It is.
to the so-called slush fund?
Well, every office has a set budget, so it just depends on how much the settlements are for. I don't know off the top of my head because we haven't seen it yet. We'll see it about a week from now. That's the timeline that was given for this office that covers both the House and the Senate to actually give us the records, because we had a subpoena in House oversight after it was voted down on the floor.
What's the ballpark? 10?
It was voted down on the floor, as in the representatives voted to not let you see that. So now they had to subpoena a government institution to have them give the records, to forcibly take the records because your representatives said, no, please don't look at our dirty deeds. Start locking up politicians.
20, 30 million?
I would say that if, for example, in Tony Gonzalez's case, let's say the number was 300,000, that's just one member. So I haven't seen the numbers, but I'd have to ballpark it probably into the millions. From what I gather from members that had been here in 2018, there was kind of a similar purge that happened on the Hill in 2018, where they actually ended up reforming the rules for House ethics to where you couldn't have an inappropriate relationship with your staffer. But I think I remember reading about 9 members of Congress resign that year.
Disgusting. It's just disgusting. I saw this. This made me laugh. We have all this going on in the world. China's doing their things. Russia's doing their thing, as in like encroaching on territory. We're doing our thing and we're encroaching on territory. I love this picture. These warmongers still getting along enough to not break the Antarctic Treaty, as in like no nation can just start conquering land on Antarctica. Why? Why is that? Why wouldn't we want to go around Antarctica? It's kind of weird how Antarctica just... Nobody wants to mess with that at all. It's weird. John Thune talking about the leadership. Oh my God.
The Save America. Let's take that a step further. I mean, Republicans control the House and the Senate. Why can't they get the Save America Act, which requires evidence that you're an American and ID to vote?
John Thune is a problem. I do not like what he's done because he has every ability, and really it's him that's blocking voter ID. He has every ability to embrace the standing filibuster or remove the filibuster. Democrats are going to do it anyways. And by the way, the current form of the filibuster is a perversion of what it initially was. But there's this position in the Senate that people are, they need to protect the institution. I get protecting the institution, but like, let's also talk about what the institution's become.
Is John Thune weak?
I think John Thune is doing the wrong thing. I don't know if I would necessarily say weak because he's clearly stubborn. He's not doing voter ID. But he can't honestly blame the Democrats for this because he's the one in control. And so what I would say and what I've continued to say is it's John Thune blocking voter ID. I'm trying right now, we have FISA up for a vote this week. I'm trying to do everything I can to get voter ID onto FISA. But I'm having to work against my own party to do that. And I'm just one person, and it takes multiple votes to do that. Yes, FISA needs reform, but I think the number one most important issue in the country right now is voter ID. And if we can't deliver on that, then people like John Thune do not deserve to come back to Congress. Vote him out. He's not up for re-election, but when it's time.
I really like her. I mean, like, so that's Anna Paulina, sorry. She's incredibly smart, or she's incredibly pushed by somebody. She's the one that's taking up the UAP, the aliens thing. She's all over this. I mean, she has good clip after good clip. She's either really, really good and smart, or she has some very powerful people behind her. I'm not sure. But yeah. And then I saw this, because the wife is Peruvian, and I like to keep an eye on Peru. Not to mention all the ancient history down there. U.S. to help Peru reclaim Chang'e port from China. Once again, another move against China, but now this one in Peru. I mean, we really are just in this secret war with each other. That's why I do think the scientists are being killed by China. Then you have Elizabeth Warren going off on this new... Oh, wait, is this old? You know what? I'm not sure if that's old or not. Then this guy... this is just a random commentator. He goes, Iranians realizing 4 decades of diplomacy. Because that's all they've done is just be diplomatic in 4 decades. They haven't done anything overt. Never forced the U.S. to make concessions, but 4 weeks of blowing up stuff did. I had to respond to this. I said, the strait is ours and they do not have nuclear weapons to hold energy production hostage. Then this is exactly what America wanted. No one cares who rules over the clump of dirt. Just stop screwing with the energy market and use American dollars to buy energy. Thank you, America. Oh, man. This guy. And then this one was from... this guy is I think he's the head of the Communist Party. Anyway, he put up, who gave NATO the right to kill Gaddafi? Gaddafi is a hard one for me because, yeah, he did try to get off the US dollar, which would make us weaker. But at the same time, he was definitely holding back the horde from Africa going into all of the world through mass migration. He was doing it. And they took him out, and it really helped out that side that wants to push mass migration. He said, who gave NATO the right to kill Gaddafi? And that's from Putin. So I responded to him, you will use American currency to buy energy or you will die. It's pretty simple. Just ask Libya, Iraq, Venezuela, and now Iran. The second you come at the empire, be ready for total, overwhelming chaos and destruction. And thus our influence persists. Brutal, but it works. And it's true. Sorry that I'm right. That's basically what's going on this morning. Then we have the Europe is building a NATO minus the U.S. contingency plan. Once again, I'm seeing us getting out of NATO. There's no point in it. They're not even powerful players. We might stay, we might deal with them for another year or two just to get Greenland, and then you might see a big old step back. I don't know. But in the end, they are a big old headache, and we are paying a lot of money to keep them safe when there's no give back from them. What do we get out of this relationship? You know? It's how I feel about Israel. In the end, you are now a problem. I am not against Israel. I am not an anti-Semite. I don't really even care. You're a nation of 10 million people in the middle, across the world. I don't even care about you. I just want your money out of my damn politics. That's it. Hey, I am not saying I hate you or anything, but you need to take a big old step back. Give us our space. And then, people ask, wow, how do you know about the all these conspiracies and all that? When the group chat is talking geopolitics and the unemployed MFer starts typing, and then it's all these people kneeling before the kid. And yeah, it's so true. One of the reasons I know all about conspiracy is because I had no job in my early 20s. I was an alcoholic. Yeah. Oh my god. All I did was live online. Yep. Thank God I fixed that. Now I'm sober and I'm online. Okay, here's another one. Now, so we were talking about the midterms coming up. One of the ways that the Republicans will totally sweep the midterms is if we can stabilize the Middle East before October. If we can do that, then all going to be good. So as long, obviously not that easy, not that simple, but if everything can fall into place, we are talking about a generational victory, a generational run on populism, which is what I am. I am a populist expansionist. I want the empire to grow, but at the same time, I want to be implementing good social programs here. I want to take care of us because we got a crap ton of chaos coming for the home front just from the economy alone. So I'm really saying we need to control trade. We need to maybe even start charging people to use routes. I know that's probably going to piss off a lot of people, but as long as we can back it up, that's a lot of money. Selling our AI, obviously, a dumbed down version to all these other countries so that they can have a central AI, crap ton of money. Robotics, no more human soldiers. You're now going to have robotic soldiers, crap ton of money. We have the chance to literally sell the future, which is why this is so important and why we're hampering China. We have the chance to sell the future to the world and then finance the American public and keep us all good. I mean, in the end, yes, we are stepping on top of others so that we can stay relatively comfortable in the chaos that's coming. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, government. Because we're talking, we all eat each other chaos. Syria's El Shahar, the negotiations with Israel are not at a dead end, and we are serious about a security agreement. Syria went from civil war to peace talks with Israel in under 18 months. This is from Mario Nawfal. I like him. He tries to keep it to the middle. Don't really have much bad to say about him. Like, sometimes I might not agree with what he thinks, but I mean, he really does try to keep it center of the field, give everybody their who has a viewpoint their say. I like him. Syria went from civil war to peace talks with Israel in under 18 months. That's why I'm talking about if we can get the stabilization of the Middle East. Context matters. Israel seized Syrian territory near the Golan Heights after former President Assad fell in 2024. So basically, Israel took over a portion of Syria, and they're not giving it up because Syria keeps attacking them. So Syria has been demanding full withdrawal since day one. Israel won't budge without security guarantees. What's at stake? A deal could end Israel's strikes in Syria, stabilize the south, and give Damascus the breathing room it desperately needs to rebuild. A stabilized Middle East. It's attainable. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones are literally standing in the way of a stable Middle East. Why? What it could kill: Israel's conditions on territory and Syria's red lines on sovereignty. So basically, it's another miniature Russia. You know, either give us this land so we can protect ourselves or do a security deal with us, which is why I think Russia's going to take the EU. I think in the end, you know, maybe 10 years from now, they will all combine because it's like, okay, if you're not, I don't want to fight you anymore, I'm just going to join you. And that's what's going to happen here. Either Israel's going to hold it till it just joins, and now they have better security, or you're going to sign a security deal, and we're going to work together. So, we'll see. But that would be amazing to have a stable Middle East. You have no idea. Gas would be so cheap. Everything. Flights. Because of insurance. No more terrorism. No more insurance on cargo. Because they're afraid of terrorism or war or some sort of instability. If you can stabilize the Middle East, holy crow, things just get cheap. Trump says Iran has agreed to hand over its nuclear dust. That's the highly enriched uranium buried underground after U.S. B-2 strikes on the nuclear facilities last summer. That was awesome. The U.S. has wanted it back badly enough that Trump was reportedly planning a military raid to seize it before any deal. That's that whole thing that you heard about when we rescued the pilots. They think that at the same time they were trying to do a Black Ops mission to get control of this stuff, but the Iranians were prepared and overwhelmed the small force that was going to take it. So, you know, if we wanted it, we could take it. But I mean, like, then you're talking boots on the ground, and I don't want boots on the ground. I do not want boots on the ground in Iran. I just want to bomb the shit out of them. The U.S. has wanted it back badly enough for that. No confirmation from Iran yet, and previous U.S. claims about Iranian nuclear commitments have fallen through over and over and over. But if real, it is significant. It would be. Handing over existing enriched stockpiles is a meaningful concession, even if Iran still has the capacity to produce more. Trump says more talks are coming this weekend. Honestly, if they give us something, it will be way better than they've been doing. So, that will be amazing. The U.S.-Iran talks have moved so fast that a Pakistani source says that they're in the final phase. The next meeting will likely be a deal signing ceremony. Back-channel diplomacy via Pakistan is ongoing. Pakistan is the one boat that passed through this blockade. I'm telling you, Pakistan must be killing it. Because, I mean, for everybody to go, you know what, you do whatever the hell you want, they must really be killing it. Good for them. Oh, and then there's this guy. I forget who he is, and I really don't care. The balance of power has shifted. The old rules are no longer applied. Oh, Matthew Ho breaks down... you are a ho. Breaks down why. Iran has proven itself to be a world power. Any country that can have this type of effect on the world is by definition a world power. What an idiot. So I had to respond. I can't stand stupidity. I said, without an arsenal to hold energy production hostage from the Middle East, they are now just Uzbekistan, which is a country you've never heard of. For good reason. So anyway, I said, without an arsenal to hold energy production hostage from the Middle East, they are now just Uzbekistan. Congrats on your strategic genius. Honestly, they are trying so hard to look good, but it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, if you talk to somebody who's never looked at geopolitics, maybe you'll look smart. The second it's somebody who's paid attention for more than a week, no, it doesn't. You look stupid. God darn, Matt, you dumb idiot. Then you have Japan. Japan is getting... So Japan has been going super national. I talked about yesterday, the streamers were going over there and doing nuisance. They've been getting invaded by the world with, it seems like, every negative aspect of every culture has been going to Japan to go, hey. So anyway, you have the nuisance streamers of America. You have now the jihadis are showing up. Thousands turned up in Fiji, Soa, whatever, to protest plans for the city's first mosque. Locals say the building would dwarf a nearby Shinto shrine and change the character of the area. Concerns about call to prayer, traffic, and Japan's cultural identity were front and center. Japan's Muslim population has been quietly growing for years. The pushback is getting louder and louder. Thousands of Japanese gathered to protest the construction of a new mosque. I completely support this because it is their home, and it is weird how the Islamic religion shows up and wants to build a bigger religious temple next to your religious temple. It is your nation. You have every right to go, no. If you want to build that, you build it over there away from us. As in, like, they can even stay in the country because to be quite honest, yeah, you do need freedom of religion. But you can tell them, no, not right next to it. Go 10 miles that way. What are you doing? That is weird that you want to look like you're trying to conquer us. That's weird. Take that crap down the road. We're Japanese. We have a Shinto temple. Take your mosque that way. Nobody's telling you to get out, but you're not putting it right next to our Shinto temple. Japan has been under attack. They even had a video game trying to change their history. Assassin's Creed, one of the biggest franchises they had a samurai Assassin's Creed game, and they made the main character black and then tried to undercut the Japanese history and push it. They tried to push it like real history. They were making Wikipedia entries trying to legitimize it. They were straight up trying to change history on Japan, and man, that pissed them off, and ever since, they've been on a tear. Like, you are not going to erase us. Completely respect the Japanese. They really are a warrior country. We just bombed them so bad that they took a huge break. I mean, honestly, the nukes, from what I read in history, it looks like it needed to happen, but man, I wish it didn't, because that was a whole warrior race that was lost for a long time. But it looks like they're coming back, and I am all for a warrior race. Japan just sailed a warship through Taiwan Strait without asking China for permission. China's foreign minister is furious, calling it a deliberate provocation that seriously damages bilateral ties. Japan's PM has already warned that any Chinese military action against Taiwan, especially involving warships or force, could become a survival-threatening situation for Japan. Turns out Japan has a navy, and it isn't afraid to use it anymore. The goys are waking up. I love that saying. The goys are waking up. I'm telling you, the world population has been asleep. Something took over, and people are waking up saying, nope, I forgot. I have a backbone. Now, this is scary. Cartels are now using drone warfare. The Jalisco cartel and Los Chapos drone struck a rival Sinaloa faction in Concordia. Concordia. Sorry. The target was Siqueiros, loyal to whatever that name is. I'm guessing a leader or an organization. One side of the Sinaloa cartel's brutal internal split. So that's a faction. Mayoto Flaco. Cartels. Hey, Yessie, if you want to jump in here and let me know if my Spanish is doing okay. Mayito Flaco One side of the Sinaloa cartel's brutal internal split between the Mayos and the Los Chapitos, the sons of El Chapo. That has been tearing the capital apart since 2024. Mexico's cartels just updated their war game to 2026 methods. They are using drone warfare. Now that's scary because if they try to do that to the border, we're invading Mexico. That's scary. Because that will be boots on the ground. That will be dead Americans. That's really scary. That's like that type of thing where now, right now, before it gets too bad, they really need to send in every special forces that you can and wipe this out. Seriously, send the message where if you touch a drone, we are going to take out all of you and maybe even your cousins. Because, I mean, you really need to send a strong message. Understand, a drone can do insane amounts of damage anywhere. At any moment. It's a little nuke. I'm sorry for cursing. They could put a nuke on it. You know, a tactical nuke, a small one. Which is insane. If they do, oh my God, that really is, they need to crush this. Crush this insanely hard. I mean, invade Mexican airspace, don't let them know, spit in their face and say, if you let your citizens do this, we will destroy you. Go harder than China. This is now, I saw this last night and it made me go, that's even bigger threat than China. That is number one. That is right below us. That is our neighbor. And now they are doing crap that is unacceptable. That is Iran right there next to us. We need to completely stomp that. Stomp it. And even when the bones are broken and it's spaghetti on the floor, keep stomping. Oh my God, I saw this. They're planning to reopen the Strait of Hormuz only after it is already opened. And this is Prime Minister Keir Starmer arrives in Paris to co-host talks with Emmanuel Macron on reopening the strait. Man, these two are really, like, this is the cool kids at school just got beat the hell out of by one dude, and now nobody respects them or thinks they're cool anymore, and they just want to be cool so bad. Like, yo, it's so entertaining. I love watching Europe fall. I'm sorry, I do. I know, I'm a bad person, whatever. I don't care. It's so funny watching the weak fall. Do not be weak. It's a simple rule. Have a backbone. Stand up for yourself. Say no. Say, hey, we want oil. That strait is for us. You know what, America? Boom, we're there with you. We lost 6 soldiers taking out a nation. Now, in the end, we still did lose 6 soldiers. So, I mean, that sucks. And in time, we're going to lose none because they're going to be robots. But, I mean, you had such a layup, and they just screwed it up. You know what? It's not even weak. Watching the incompetent fall is entertaining. So, yeah. So that's the news today. Okay, so let's have some fun now. Ancient history. I love ancient history. Okay, so actually, you know what? Before we move on, yeah, I forgot I had this. The UK finally snapped.
Help migrants pose as gay to get an asylum, undercover BBC investigation finds.
We're investigating immigration advisors that are encouraging migrants to cheat the asylum system. To penetrate this shadow industry, we've had to go undercover. Our reporter is posing as a former student who wants to stay in the UK.
Okay.
They're not being persecuted. They've got no genuine basis to claim asylum. But we've heard some consultants are prepared to help migrants like him pretend to be gay to stay in the UK.
What do? You have to show up with like a Village People t-shirt? Yeah.
All right, you guys understand what's being said. These migrants have no reason to actually stay, so they're now claiming to be LGBT because that gives him immediate right to stay. What the fuck?
Have to be a fan of Assassin's Creed Shadows? What is being...
That's the Japanese one. That's the... Oh, by the way, they made the black character gay in that one. So not only did they undercut the Japanese history in that video game, they made the main character black. Oh, and also he could be gay. Because in the storyline, you can either make him gay or not. They are trying to straight up feminize the world, and it sucks.
Gay look like?
Hello?
I wonder.
After putting out some feelers, our undercover reporter's phone rings out of the blue. Someone's got in touch from a number that we have not got saved.
And then I don't know who the person is, but her name is Tanisha. Yeah, in gay. I said, but I'm not a gay. She goes, doesn't matter, no one's gay.
No one's gay.
Later that evening, our undercover reporter puts a face to the voice on the phone.
Okay.
This is Tanisha Khan. She's invited him to her home in East London for what will turn out to be the first of several meetings. Tanisha explains one specific way to remain in the country.
Where we can get you a visa?
Human rights के ऊपर
It's on human rights. It's called gay case or same sex.
Same sex जो भी है उधर आपको
You have to prove that you're an LGBTQ person.
But मैं तो ऐसे नहीं
But I'm not. That's it. There's no other hope for any other visa.
For a fee, Tanisha offers to provide evidence to support the fake claim.
अगर आपको लगता है कि आप
So you just get let in if you're gay? What the fuck? How does something like this happen? I will put together compiling a comprehensive package for you, including photographs of you at clubs. Guys, does anybody here like going to a club? I've got bad or good news for you, depending. You're gay. And various other pieces of supporting evidence. Look, this guy's listened to Creed on Spotify for 632 hours. Oh! No, let him in. No, we know. Say no more.
जैसे मर्जी ले आओ
तू इस पे भी ले आओ
जैसे मर्जी ले आओ एक दफा लेके उसके बाद लेन-देन हो सकता है
Asman missed this, but in the full video they actually explain how this is massively widespread.
You think you've seen it all, and then you see something like this.
Our reporter makes a down payment of £150 to become a client. He's invited to attend his first meeting. Here, Tanisha isn't just one of the group's advisors, but a star attraction. Our reporter is in there, and every time we've driven past, there's more and more people going in. It's clearly absolutely packed in there. So this isn't just people in London, this is people from all over the country.
Yep.
कम से कम 200 प्लस बंदे
तू सारे गे हैं के
हाँ सारे ये इशारा
मैं तो नहीं
भाई कोई भी नहीं इसमें 1% भी नहीं 1% जानते हो 0.01% भी नहीं
Tanisha Khan denies all wrongdoing and said there'd been communication difficulties because she's not a fluent Urdu speaker. The Home Office said anyone found trying to exploit the system will face the full force of the law.
Fact is that there shouldn't even be a system that lets people in for being gay to begin with. That's a retarded thing to do. Why would somebody being gay have any sort of impact on whether you let them into the country? Think about the implications of something like this. It's insane. That's crazy that they're trying to do this. Absolutely fucking crazy.
Immigration is about bettering your country. So, why does gayness, how does that better your country? Now, if you're a scientist or you do something productive in that way, yes, come on in. But just because your sexuality does not make it net positive, yay, has nothing to do with you and your character. The whole, like, give us your tired and or whatever that saying is, I can't even remember it right now. That was the Democrats just importing votes. Anyway, here's another one that happened. This is a streamer went to the UK. He's a famous streamer. His name is Marlon. He's known for being a good-looking guy and IRL streaming, going out, going to clubs, dating girls. It's what he's known for. He went to the UK, and this happened while he was taking a girl out.
So he sits there and he holds the knife like this when I'm touching his hand. He can natural reaction of someone up in your...
He had a guy come up to him on the date with a knife, with a phone, filming him as he's basically threatening him at the table, and Marlon did nothing because the guy has a knife openly right here as he's filming. So of course he doesn't really do much. He's just wanting the situation to go away. I think he has a fight or something coming up, so he's training for that. The guy has goals. It's one of the few times where I can totally respect you for not getting in a physical confrontation. He's thinking ahead. He's being a chess player. Good for you, Marlon. Great for you, Chad.
Your face close and personal. So he sits there and he holds the knife like this. When I'm touching his hand, he kind of pulled it out a little bit like that.
He was being held at knife point by a UK man who was recording his face, pressing him, which is why he didn't want to make a scene. What the fuck?
For context, Marlon is a big US streamer. While he was visiting the UK, he and his girlfriend were attacked by some thugs.
Of course I'm not gonna do that because, bro, one stab and I'm done for. If I done anything and he does that, they just run off. Who's gonna stop?
You also got to think of your girl. Like, I've had a couple situations with my girl where the second I thought things were popping off, I put her right next to the door. I made sure that she knows if I'm moving a certain way, that means you're going to the car. You are looking for the exit. Travis does not feel comfortable right now. The other day we were taking a hike. This dude alone is walking behind us. I stop and just look at things for 3 minutes. And then once he was out of earshot, because they were like talking to my girls, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? Once he was out of earshot, I was like, I just want to stop. I want that guy to get away from me and my family. There's no point. There's no reason for this man to be next to me and my family in the middle of the woods alone. So we're going to stop here. We're going to wait. And then we're going to keep walking. And if I see him again, we're going to have a problem. So, you always keep your wits about you. You don't know anybody out there and what they're thinking. Always err to the side that is a psycho, because there's more than a 1% chance that dude's a psycho. So yeah, I waited and I let him walk on, and then I didn't see him again. There was no problem. But yeah, you just read the scene, make the moves. Preventative actions are way better than direct physical action. I would rather sit there and look at a river for a couple minutes than have to fight some dude in the middle of the woods.
Stop him. What, the people that works in the kebab shop, that's who's gonna stop him? Of course not.
The UK is so embarrassed. This is the one I saw earlier. Look at this.
Look at this. And this dude deserves it. He deserves.
Who could have expected this?
Look at him.
Yo, chill out, bro. Chill out.
So he's got a knife while he's trying to hold this, like, dude.
Trying to act all tough. Meanwhile, you have a knife. Typical migrant in the UK, it looks like. It's really looking like it's the typical thing.
What are you doing?
Chill. Relax.
Don't tell me chill, brother.
Even with a knife, he's putting his hands on you. He knows he could beat the shit out of you.
Amanda, what you doing, fam?
That's crazy.
Chill. Relax.
Marlon.
What a goddamn pussy. Ugh. I hate manlets. Hate them. You want to act tough? Sounds good. I live that life. I'll meet you on the battlefield. Former MMA, multiple bar fights, a lot of wins, a lot of losses. Don't care. I will meet you there. I love battle.
That's crazy. Look at the glass reflection. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously another violent migrant that should never have been in the UK to begin with, that's over there causing trouble for them and harassing tourists. But yes, went out to get food in a chicken shop here in London just now, almost turned into a 4v1 again, a bunch of fucking weirdos here. One of the worst experiences I've had with someone. Weird place. That sucks. Here's another component to this that I want you guys to realize.
That right there would have sent me off. You do not do anything to my girl. Oh, I know it's toxic. I'm super possessive. Don't you even look at my girl like that. Hand out? Oh, I would have shot at that chair. Done it multiple times.
What are you doing to the girl? You can't coexist with people like this. The only way that you can deal with people like this...
Love you, baby. Thanks for putting up with my bull crap.
is by putting them into prison. Like, in my opinion, what the UK needs to do is they need to go through and deport as many of these people as possible. If you can't do that, just put them into prison. Like, this is such a huge problem. I don't think enough people are realizing it. Eventually, enough men in the UK will be tired of this, and there will be a change. The problem that I have is that I think that whenever there is a change for this, if this problem is not addressed in a democratic way, will either be addressed as a page in a history book or a chapter. I think it should be a page. It would be so much better if you just listened to the reasonable people who are bringing up legitimate concerns about this stuff and you just applied what they were saying. That's it.
Honestly, the only reason people like me don't pop off is because we follow the rules. If the government were to come out and say, you know what, open combat is allowed against this group of people because they are a threat to our nation, you will have people like me going, if I see that going on, that threat, boom, there's my chance. I've been waiting. The only reason people like me don't pop off is because we know prison is waiting for us. There is no vigilante justice in this society. So probably I will never get that chance, and I'm okay with that because it's good for my kids. They can live in a stable society. You know, you can't have a bunch of barbarians going crazy. I get it. I wish it could be both ways, but it can't. You either got to be civilized or you got to be barbarians. But you need people like me who are going to back up that civilization, because eventually you're going to have barbarians coming. You need monsters to fight monsters. It's so damn true. So yeah, that's what's going on with the UK, and it's what I'm seeing happening to America, and it's just so darn frustrating. So anyway, that is the news. Let's get into some ancient history. So, I just want to prove to people, because this is one of the big things. It's like, okay, you know what, Travis, you're right. There is a bunch of time, 4.5 billion years of Earth. Yeah, that is a lot of time for a civilization to pop up and fall. Where's the relics? Where's any evidence, Travis? You know, all we have is these stone things. That doesn't show technology, Travis. Obviously, it there's no evidence, Travis. What are you talking about? This is Michael Button. You know what? Here, let's just click on his channel quick. Michael Button, great content creator. Been following him for a while. He does ancient history. He's been on Joe Rogan, all these oh wow, yeah. Look at this. He's been on a few different ones. I gotta actually look at these. Oh, cool. A very smart man. One of the ones leading the charge of saying they're lying to you about history. A lot of things are older than they're saying. And as I'm hoping you're all seeing how doesn't matter what institution it is. It seems like every institution doesn't want you to know the full story. Or even 50% of the story. And I'm talking about news, I'm talking about history, I'm talking about technology, I'm talking about science. They've been holding down science. They're straight up saying it anymore. Yeah, we've been pushing the bad science while we've been doing the real science in the military for a while. They are straight up trying to hold us down so that way there is this control apparatus. And it sucks. So anyway, why is there no evidence of these ancient civilizations, Travis? Well, here you go.
The clock begins the second the power goes out. If you take a standard skyscraper, a titan of steel, concrete and glass, it begins to fail structurally within decades to centuries. But the real destruction happens at the molecular level, long before the walls actually come down. In coastal regions, where the...
He's saying with time, this thing falls apart at the atom level. There is no evidence because there's literally nothing left. So much time has passed that it has eroded to dust.
Vast majority of our greatest urban centers sit, the primary assassin is electrochemical corrosion. We use low-carbon steel for almost everything, from the rebar in our foundations to the massive beams in our bridges. But in a high salinity environment, this metal undergoes a relentless process of structural failure. The salt in the air and the moisture in the ground create an aggressive battery, stripping electrons from the metal. Research on the corrosion of low-carbon steel shows that in marine environments, corrosion rates can can reach fractions of a millimeter per year, and in extreme cases approach 1 millimeter annually. On a human scale, that's just a maintenance problem, but on a geological scale of 100,000 years, that is erasure. The steel doesn't just rust, it returns to the earth as iron oxide, eventually becoming indistinguishable from natural ore. Then we have our so-called immortal.
Literally, it turns to dust. So, but guess what doesn't? Stone. Natural stone. Yes, there's all different types, you know, but it's just, it holds together better over time. In the end, God created the best source, the best resource. God created it. Everything we create, yeah, it might be harder in the moment, but over time, it falls apart. I mean, this is why scientists, all the smartest people in the world, say there is a God. They might not follow a religion, but they say there is a God because there is some type of higher intelligence. Everything is better.
Materials, the plastics. Polyethylene terephthalate, or PET, is the backbone of our modern consumer world.
Yep, so everything's going to fall apart. Here you go.
Things people made. They survive because stone is brutally resistant to time. So the reason prehistory looks like it does isn't because ancient humans lived in a stone age in the way we imagine. It's because stone is the only thing that time allows us to see. And this is the part that most people never hear. We don't just have biased evidence, we have almost no evidence at all. Once you go back beyond 100,000 years, there are only 9 known accepted Homo sapiens sites.
100,000 years. Once you go past 100,000 years, there's only 9 sites in the world they say are human. The world is 4.5 billion years old. They're saying they can only go back 100,000 years.
9. That's it. And those 9 sites are all we have to represent roughly 200,000 years, from the earliest modern human fossils to 100,000 years ago. 9 brief, disconnected glimpses to reconstruct the entire early history of our species. From a statistical point of view, that's not just weak, it's laughable. No statistician on Earth would accept a sample size like that as sufficient to draw confident conclusions about behavior, intelligence, culture, or technological limits. But even if you expand the net to include all human species, not just us, the situation barely improves. Across a much larger time span, we're still only talking about around 100 sites in total, a handful of dots spread across millions of years. It's testament to how much time and the Earth erases. So when people speak confidently about what early humans couldn't do, what they're really saying is, based on a vanishingly small, heavily filtered sample, this is the story we've chosen to tell, and that should immediately make you cautious. But there's a deeper layer to this erasure that we call taphonomic bias. This is a concept borrowed from paleontology, and it's the reason why our map of the past oxygen to prevent aerobic decomposition, fine-grained sediment to a local. To leave a trace in deep time, you need a very specific set of variables to align perfectly. First, you need rapid burial, usually in fine-grained sediments like river silt or volcanic ash.
Talking about how to leave traces for somebody 100,000 years from now to see. That's why all this stuff that they're building for like doomsday or to be seen in 10,000 years, it's like, yo, unless you're making it with stone, nobody's going to be seeing that.
Seal you away from scavengers. Second, you need an environment with low oxygen to prevent aerobic decomposition. Third, you need favorable chemistry. If the ground is even slightly acidic, it will dissolve the inorganic hydroxyapatite that makes up your bones before they can ever mineralize. Even in the ocean, the preservation of human bone is incredibly precarious. Seawater is a complex chemical soup, and unless a body is buried almost immediately in an anaerobic layer, it simply disappears. Research on bone in marine environments suggests that without rapid burial, the structural integrity of the skeleton is lost within just a few decades. We see this in modern forensic studies too. The effect of soil texture on the degradation of organic remains is profound. In some soils, a body, and the clothes it was wearing can be reduced to nothing in a matter of months. Thus, for every Otzi the Iceman or Lucy we find, there are millions of individuals who were completely recycled by the biosphere. By the 100,000-year mark, the vast majority of human remains will have been broken down into their constituent elements, their carbon and calcium taken up by the plants and animals of a new world. Let's look at the cold hard numbers. Our species, Homo sapiens, has been around for at least 300,000 years. During that time, billions of us have lived and died. Yet, the estimated odds of a single human being leaving behind a fossil are roughly 1 in tens of millions. Think about what that means for a culture that might have existed, say, 200,000 years ago. If that culture had a population of only 1 million, the statistical chance of finding even one of their skeletons today is effectively 0. Even widespread, global species like the dinosaurs are only known to us through a tiny fragmented percentage of their total population. I mean, dinosaurs dominated the planet for more than 160 million years, yet our understanding comes from an absurdly small number of preserved remains, a few thousand specimens. We are searching for a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is the entire crust of the Earth and the needle is actively dissolving. Thus, if we applied this to our own future, 100,000 years from now, there might be only a few dozen fossilized humans in existence globally. But if those fossils happen to be under 2 miles of ocean sediment or buried beneath a new mountain range, they are effectively gone. We are not just physically disappearing, we are statistically evaporating. Now, it's true that some traces of us could survive. If we knew exactly where to look and exactly what to look for, we could potentially find some traces of chemical signatures in the soil. Traces that suggest that something happened. We could also maybe find signs of plutonium in the atmosphere as evidence of our nuclear weapons testing. But let's just run a hypothetical. Say that 120,000 years ago, during a previous interglacial period, a small, regional, industrial culture emerged in Southeast Asia, or the Amazon. They weren't global like us, but they had cities, they used metals, and they had a basic form of synthetic resin, or plastic. They last for 3,000 years, longer than most modern empires, and then they collapse. Maybe it's a plague. Maybe it's climate change. What happened to their record? Well, within 50 years, their steel infrastructure fails. Within 500 years, their concrete has weathered into rubble. Within 5,000 years, their PET-like synthetics have fragmented into microparticles and been buried under meters of sediment. Then the sea levels rise. Their coastal cities are submerged. The abiotic and biotic corrosion of the ocean takes over. Plate tectonics and the relentless erosion rework the landscape. The Earth removes tens of billions of tons of surface material every year. By the time we come along, 120,000 years later, there is nothing left to find. No ruins, no skeletons, no trash. All that remains is a microparticle state that is indistinguishable from the background geological noise. Their entire existence is reduced to a chemical anomaly in a rock layer that we haven't even bothered to sample. Finding anything complex after 100,000 years becomes statistically almost impossible. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? We like to think of our civilization as a permanent scar on the face of the planet. We think we've changed the world forever, but the science of material degradation suggests that the Earth is much better at healing than we are at wounding. We aren't building monuments, we are building sandcastles in front of an incoming tide. Yep. So when we look into the deep past, we shouldn't be looking for ruins. We should be looking for geology. We should be looking for the subtle, microscopic traces of a world that was once organized and is now just dust. And one day, far sooner than we'd like to admit, we will do the same. We will become a thin, dark line of metallic oxides and mineral dust in the strata, evidence that something happened here for a brief, flickering moment, and then the Earth moved on. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing to my channel down below. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, seriously, give Michael Button a follow. He has given me so much good information over the years. I mean, all I can do is just try to pass this along to people and hope that it sticks, because it opened my eyes, so I hope it opens yours. All right, now, here is the update on structures underneath the pyramid. Now, hopefully you know the story. We'll go into that in a second, but rather than make people wait, I'm just going to go right into the update. The update is, there is a theory that there's a second Sphinx right next to the Sphinx that is already exposed in the pyramids of Giza. there is now signs showing that there's a second Sphinx underneath the ground right next to it. And they are using math to do this. The Egyptians were big believers in this thing called sacred geometry. That's another whole episode. Don't worry. As we go down this journey, it's all going to come together. All I can do is an hour and a half to 2 hours a day because I got a family. But it's all going to come together. But here's the update. This is Jay Anderson. Jay is amazing. Project Unity. He's the one who broke the story. He didn't break it. He put out the message of the people doing the sonar underneath the pyramids that showed the structures underneath. They then used computers to put together the 3D model. It's all incredible. The technology that they used. I just really, here.
Crazier than we
This is
could
the way
have
it's
ever
looking.
imagined.
Look at this. So pyramid, then 4 spiraling tunnels down to these huge boxes with something inside. It almost looks like some sort of... So one of the theories is it's the Giza plateau and it vibrates. They think that this could have been some sort of energy where the vibration would cause energy, just like an earthquake. The world vibrates. That's actually energy right there. Potential kinetic energy. The shaking would then happen, and this would collect the energy in some sort of way. There's also theories of it being some sort of communication. I don't know, but that's freaking cool. I wish that they... Come on. Oh, here it is. Here's like what they see in the radar. See that? See that? And here's the boxes. So then they used the computers and AI to then put it together, and this is what they're kind of thinking it looks like. Crazy.
Engineering is concerned, the pyramid schmyramids at this point, with what they're finding. So yeah, this is what it looks like. This diagram show you the exact scale of how insane this discovery is. So up here you have a Khafre's pyramid. It stands 471 feet tall.
That's what it looked like. That's what it's supposed to have looked like in ancient times, with a golden top, and it was completely white. It must have been so beautiful. And the Sphinx must have looked amazing with the lion's head. If you don't know this, the Egyptian Empire 2,000 or 3,000 years ago they believe reforged the Sphinx to go from a lion's head to a pharaoh's head. And that's why it looks like such an ugly piece of crap now.
This is so bizarre. It's definitely more impressive, and so that's what we're looking at. And then this is where it gets really, really crazy. If you zoom all the way out, this should give you a good idea of just the scale of engineering, what we're looking at, what they did. And I guess maybe we'll find out more.
Honestly, the engineering just shows advanced civilization. Anyway, here is the update on a second Sphinx.
These blocks are absolutely...
Love it when things come out about the Giza Plateau.
Jay Anderson, give him a follow. He's on YouTube. Project Unity is his channel. YouTube, X. The guy, he travels around the world and he does nothing but try to open up the eyes of people who want to listen. I really respect him. And he's funny.
Professor Filippo Bionde.
That is the engineer that did the sonar. He works with Italian government to do government projects, and then he does this as a side project.
Satellite radar specialist with a background in radar with the Italian government sat down with Matt Beale and stated that he had found a second Great Sphinx on Giza buried beneath a 180-foot mound of compacted sand on the plateau. Horizontal passageways extending from deeper underground sections both show shafts that are descending down to depth. They both show horizontal tunnel systems extending outward, and they both show the same geometric internal arrangement.
This is so cool.
So what I was told quietly in Malta when I was with Filippo Bionde and the rest of the Khafra Pyramid team has now been disclosed on Matt Beale's Limitless podcast, which I was also on recently. Links for that are in the description box. But this time it was my friend Professor Filippo Bionde on the podcast, and he sent the internet into a frenzy over recent scans pointing towards what could be a second Sphinx on the Giza Plateau. Professor Filippo Bionde, a satellite radar specialist with a background in radar with the Italian government, sat down with Matt Beale and stated that he had found a second Great Sphinx on Giza buried beneath a 180-foot mound of compacted sand on the plateau, and that the geometric precision of its alignment with...
Look at that. The Egyptians truly believed in sacred geometry. So if you follow the pattern, here's the Sphinx, here's this mound. It is they straight up say it. You can go there and look at it. It is a mound, flat, 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 mound, flat, flat, flat. And the mound is made up of dirt that is different than the dirt around it. Too many points on a graph leading to one conclusion.
The known Sphinx and the Pyramid of Khafre was, in his exact words, 100%. But here's what makes the story genuinely extraordinary. The idea of a second Sphinx is not new, and it did not originate in 2026. It goes back 4,500 years. It was woven into the oldest strata of Egyptian theology. It's mentioned in medieval Islamic scholarship. It was discussed by Greek and Roman travelers. It's been pursued by independent Egyptologists for decades, and in 2026, it acquired for the first time a body of satellite data, a geometric coordinate, and a researcher prepared to attach his professional reputation to a specific location. Hit that subscribe button. Please just whack that subscribe button with your finger right now.
Please give him a
That's
follow.
the best way to support me. Drop
Project
a comment
Unity.
below in the comment section, like the video, share the video online, but above all else, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you tickle that notification bell as well, otherwise YouTube doesn't send you the videos.
And please subscribe to Kick Off the Morning. We're trying to get to 50 followers. We were at 10 yesterday. We're now at 12. You know, the ball's rolling. I am insanely grateful. Thank you, guys. I'm really glad that you find some of this entertaining. And, you know, I hope you're learning with me. I really want to hear opinions. I want to hear what you're thinking. Does anybody else have different theories? I got nobody to talk to about this.
Egyptian cosmology encoded the twin sphinx into its understanding of the universe. Aker was one of the most ancient gods in the entire Egyptian pantheon, first depicted in the reign of Pharaoh Dier, fourth king of the first dynasty, placing him at the very dawn of dynastic Egyptian civilization around 3000 BC. He was the god of the horizon, the earth, and the threshold of the underworld. His role was to guard the passage of the sun god Ra through the Duat, the underworld, each night, and to release him again at dawn. His iconography is the key to everything. Aker was depicted not as a single creature, but as two recumbent lion torsos merged together, sitting back to back, each facing an opposite horizon. By the Middle Kingdom, he was firmly established as a pair of twin lions.
So you hear what he's saying. There was a god in ancient Egypt that was two different bodies of lions facing opposite of each other. You have a sphinx that is facing Leo back when it was at their 42,000 years ago, facing that way. If it's based on that god, there should be a second body facing the opposite direction. Okay? So we go back to the map. Oh, where is it? Where did the sacred geometry go? Nah, forget it. Anyway, should be there.
His role was to guard the passage of the sun god Ra through the Duat. The eye is the key to everything. Akir was depicted not as a single creature, but as two recumbent lion torsos merged together, sitting back to back, each facing an opposite horizon. By the Middle Kingdom, he was firmly established as a pair of twin lions, one named Duaj, tomorrow, and the other Sefe, yesterday. The two lions sat back to back with a sun disk, or the hieroglyph for horizon, placed between them. The Egyptian Museum in Cairo houses several artifacts depicting this precisely. This aligns with the belief of individuals like Graham Hancock that the Sphinx was originally a lion orientated towards the constellation of Leo, modified by later cultures into a sphinx. If true, the Sphinx, or more accurately lion, would go back to roughly 10,500 BC. So could the twin Sphinx, or the twin lion, be hiding underneath that mound? And imagine if it was discovered in lion form. That would be extremely provocative evidence for the Sphinx being altered by ancient Egyptian cultures. But the twin lions likely existed long before dynasty.
How was that never looked at? It's right there. The Egyptian government, the head of antiquities, is holding the human population back by not letting us explore our past. Probably for influence, probably for power, because it always comes down to that.
Egypt. In later dynastic representations, Akir evolved further. The twin lion forms were increasingly depicted as twin sphinxes with human heads, two recumbent sphinx figures back to back, guarding opposite ends of the solar corridor beneath the earth. Again, this indicates an evolution from lion to sphinx, which could have easily translated to an alteration of twin lion statues on the Giza Plateau to twin sphinxes as beliefs and ideas and iconography changed over time. The theological message was precise and unambiguous. The guardian of the horizon was always two, never one. One faced east towards the rising sun, towards tomorrow. One faced west towards the setting sun, towards yesterday. Together they enclosed the tunnel through which the solar barge traveled. Together they defined the sacred threshold. The Great Sphinx of Giza faces due east. It watches the rising sun. In Egyptian cosmology, this makes it one half of the Akka pair, the western-facing twin. The guardian of yesterday, of sunset, of the entrance to the underworld, would logically sit behind it, facing west, facing the desert, facing the opposite direction. Positioned between the front paws of the Great Sphinx since approximately 1401 BC, the Dream Stele, attributed to Pharaoh Thutmose IV, is a 15-ton slab of pink granite, 360 centimeters tall, 218 centimeters wide. The story it tells is famous. A young prince falls asleep near the Sphinx, dreams it speaks to him as the god Hormaket, promises him the throne of Egypt if he will clear the sand burying its body, and Thutmose awakens to fulfill the bargain and become pharaoh. But look at the upper register of the stele, the carved scene above the text. It's divided into two panels, left and right. In both panels, Pharaoh Thutmose IV is shown making offerings, and in both panels he's making those offerings to the Sphinx, which appears twice on two separate pedestals, one on each side.
He's giving a pot over
The
here.
text specifies in both cases that the figure on the pedestal is
basket, it looks
Harmakis, the name of the Sphinx as a deity. One scholar's close translation of the stele arch reads, "The arch of the stele has the representation of two leaning sphinxes lying on plinths. In both cases, the text specifies that it is Harmakis." Now, mainstream Egyptology's position is that this is standard New Kingdom artistic convention, with the deity appearing symmetrically on each side on plinths.
So you can see.
In both cases, the text specifies
Different gifts.
that it is Harmakis.
Two
Now,
different
mainstream
things.
Egyptology's position is that this is standard New Kingdom artistic convention, with the deity appearing symmetrically on each side as a compositional device. But the secondary reading that the dual sphinx imagery is literally depicting two sphinxes, as Ekker's theology requires, has never actually been conclusively disproved or even meaningfully explored by the mainstream. And so once again, it's up to those outside of the old boys club of mainstream archaeology, up to groups like the Khafra Pyramid Project, to begin shedding light on the possibilities. It's important to note that the dream stele is incomplete. A large crack running through the stone has destroyed approximately half of the original text, beginning at the 12th line and running to the bottom. So whatever the full inscription contained, whatever additional description of the Sphinx's sacred landscape Tutmosis IV commissioned is gone, lost and possibly forever. But one of the most tangible pieces of evidence for the second Sphinx claim is not from radar or mythology, it's just simply visible from above. Satellite imagery of the Giza Plateau clearly shows a raised mound of compacted sand and debris to the northwest of the existing Sphinx, in the vicinity where Bionde's geometric calculations place the second structure. Filippo Bionde describes this mound as not natural bedrock. We're very sure, he says, that this is not bedrock. The sand has solidified. So if this observation about the sand's composition is correct, it would suggest deliberate compaction, the kind that might be expected from intentional burial. The critical
Intentional burial. They are hiding the past.
point that no one has excavated this mound with the specific hypothesis of a second Sphinx in mind. So Zahi Hawas's claim that the relevant area for the Sphinx has been dug by so many archaeologists and it's yielded nothing, that refers to the theory of a second Sphinx on the opposite bank of the Nile, or to an earlier proposed location, but not to the specific geometric position that Bionde's 2026 analysis is targeting. The most sustained pre-Bionde case for a second Giza Sphinx belongs to Egyptian Egyptologist Bassam el-Shamar, who spent more than 10 years compiling textual, archaeological, and satellite evidence for his hypothesis. El-Shamar's argument rests on several interlocking claims. Egyptian sphinxes in all documented cases come in pairs. Avenues, temple entrances, processional routes all feature paired sphinxes. The Great Sphinx being singular.
If there's always two, why wouldn't there be a second one with this?
Is in of itself an anomaly with no parallels in Egyptian architectural practice. Ancient Egyptian texts, Middle Kingdom papyrus, and later Greek and Roman accounts have also referenced a second Sphinx at or near Giza. Then you have NASA satellite imagery that was reviewed by El-Shamar, which shows an anomalous formation near the known Sphinx consistent with a buried large-scale limestone structure. El-Shamar also takes great consideration into the theological framework of Akir, the twin lion deity, which demands a western-facing counterpart to the east-facing Great Sphinx. Filippo Bionde's methodology for locating the second Sphinx didn't begin with radar, it just began with geometry. The known Great Sphinx...
There you go. The sacred geometry. Look. Look at this. It matches... They left it so to be found. That is the amazing thing about all this. The civilization that did this, because it wasn't the Egyptians, was so smart. They left clue after clue. So yes, please find us. No, we were here. And then you have these jerks covering it up and not letting us figure out the story that they were trying to show us. And now, just so you can see, so we're starting to connect dots, we have the pole shift coming and maybe an apocalypse. Why would they hide it? Why would they hide ancient history? Because they were trying to tell you, yo, there's cycles of destruction.
sits at a specific position on the Giza Plateau relative to the Pyramid of Khafre. Bionde traced a line from the center of the Khafre pyramid to the exact position of the Great Sphinx, and he then mirrored that line geometrically, reflecting it across the central axis of the Sphinx to locate its precise geometric counterpart on the opposite side. This mirroring produces a specific geographic coordinate, a point to the northwest of the existing Sphinx, which, when plotted on satellite imagery of the plateau, falls directly beneath the raised sand mound that has been visible to researchers and travelers for over 400 years.
If
The
this was a
position produced by the
If this was a crime, it would be investigated. As in, like, there's so much evidence saying, hey, there's something here. They would open up an investigation. But for some reason, we're not doing that with history.
geometric projection
Look at it! Look at it!
matches the location of the anomalous mound. This alone doesn't prove a second Sphinx exists. The question of whether something is actually there has to now be explored, but there is more to this than a simple matchup of geometry to a mound. Bionde's harmonic SAR satellite Doppler tomography method, the same methodology used to claim subterranean structures.
And that's what they're saying it looks like. They're saying this one has more, this one has 4. All of this is down, is below the pyramid. Like massively below. Not like 50 feet, not 100 feet. We're talking like 1,000 feet. Talking like skyscraper huge.
Beneath the pyramids of Giza was subsequently applied to the sand mound. The SAR processing produced what he described as internal features within the mound, including vertical shafts of a type and orientation closely resembling those he previously detected beneath the existing Great Sphinx, horizontal passageways extending from deeper underground sections, dense linear features interpreted as the outer walls of an underground shaft rather than empty voids, and an overall structural arrangement that, in Bionde's words, shows incredible symmetry with the known structures beneath the first Sphinx. Both show shafts that are descending down to depth. They both show horizontal tunnel systems extending outward, and they both show the same geometric internal arrangement. He said that we found shafts within the original Sphinx and similar shafts within the presumed second Sphinx, and the similarities between the two sites are increasingly hard to overlook. Filippo has been explicit that this requires in-field verification. For the second Sphinx, it is crucial to conduct in-situ examinations with geologists and meticulously study the mound, but they have identified specific entrances where they can work in situ. This means that we have a prepared project proposal for the Egyptian authorities when it comes to presenting this idea and trying.
That's if they'll let them. I mean, Egypt really... That's if they'll... I am sure Egypt hates this man. That's Filippo. That's the man who came up with the Doppler system that found this. And I am sure there is so much more that we are going to find. They're now looking at sites in Turkey and doing this type of technology on it. There's a lot of ancient history. Now, why would Turkey or Hungary want to hide ancient history? They're saying because the Islamic religion, it doesn't want other things to precede it or be bigger than it. So they're saying it's being held back because of religious beliefs there. And maybe that's the same with Egypt. I'm thinking it has more to do with influence and power, as in, like, we know the truth and, you have to deal with us to know the truth. As in the Egypt government saying that to the U.S. government, to the British government. I'm sure they've been using this for a long time. And I'm sure they absolutely hate this man that he is giving up their secrets.
Trying to justify any sort of actual excavations of this mound, which again just seems like it should have been done at some point, if not in the ancient time, in the modern era, but apparently it's just been sitting there dormant for all of this time, and only now are we beginning to go, oh, maybe we should dig that mound up on the Giza Plateau, that gigantic mound of compacted sand. Either way, this is another exciting...
That is crazy. Intentional. Hiding the history.
Exciting development on the Giza Plateau, and one that I think we all hope can be explored more rigorously alongside the scans and possibilities already out there in respects to the wider subterranean structure of the Giza Plateau. I think it's abundantly clear Even without the SAR Doppler scans, there's something profound and extremely large scale is hiding underneath the sand here. The amount of deep vertical shafts and subterranean entrance points on the Giza Plateau is shocking when you take the time, like I did, to walk around the desert surroundings, one shaft after another, going deep underground. Something important is down there, and I think we're edging closer towards actually getting some answers on this.
I hope so. I mean, this is why another reason why I'm making this broadcast. I want this to become more known. I want people to talk about this. I want them to not be able to hide it. It's what you're seeing in the UAP front. It's what you're seeing in the citizen journalism front with Nick Shirley. I'm really trying to show you everybody, trying to show you people the truth. But seriously, like, I'm really trying to show people, like, there is a whole power structure above us where they're just trying to keep you dumb and dormant. And we can't allow it. We cannot allow it anymore. As the saying goes, it's time for the goys to wake up. So, I hope we are all learning a little something. Well, we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes, my longest one yet. Wow, cool. Man, that flew. I didn't even realize. I can totally see how Asman goes for 8 hours. Holy crap. Yeah, that is a lot of fun. This is so much fun. I enjoy this so much. Thank you very much for joining me on the Friday broadcast. We did it, a full week. A full week. I mean, there was multiple things trying not to let this happen, but you don't submit ever. You never submit. I will push and bang my head against that wall till the wall crumbles, because my hard head doesn't. God. We're going to see how next week goes. I didn't work overtime this week. I work weekends for my casting position in production. I'm a weekend shift right now. So I did not work overtime this week, so it was very easy for me to do this. But I'm going to have to get back to my overtime because, you know, this is a hobby. Got to take care of my family first. So we're going to see how next week goes. But, I mean, if I have to, I'll push through and I'll still do this. Tired as hell. I really don't care. I'm having so much fun with this. Thank you so much. Please give me a follow on Kick. We're trying to get to 50. We're at, well, let's see. Was there any update since we started? No, we're still at 12. We're at 12 followers. We had 10 yesterday. Hopefully over the weekend we get one. And then let's keep it going. Let's keep it growing. You know? I am having so much fun. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been Kick Off the Morning, the unofficial, official morning show of Kick. Have a blessed day. You are beautiful.